Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Well, hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. John myself, Oxford, on the show this evening is our GB and the legend who's seen it all before. We'll maybe know this is the one and only Bridgeman. Evening, boys.
Evening, Oxshire, evening, Bridgeman. Hope the two yous are well. And the coffee, is it the ready, Oxshire, for tonight, mate?
Well done. Good evening to yourself, Oxshire, and of course, GB and the techie boys in the background. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, what are we deflated? Absolutely. Bet your boots on it. So have their chins up and let's see what happens tonight. Maybe a good show. Go for it. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Did you say coffee, GB?
Aye.
Coffee, yep, this time of night, mate, and the amount of talking I would expect us to be doing tonight, mate. I think we're all going to be needing a kick after the night, mate, I think.
Well, some people need a kick in, but that's a different story, isn't it?
Oh.
Yep, definitely, mate.
Oh, right, okay. I mean, I said a lot in my piece last night. In fact, last night we were on and the sun rose. I maybe just get more and more angry and frustrated, but I'll let you go first, GB, and then we'll go to the legend Bridge. Look, we can dissect the game all we want. It is what it is. We're not going to change it. But just say what you feel, get off your chest, thoughts, how we go forward. You got a solution, because it'd be great to hear that. GB.
Aye, cheers, Ox. Last night was a surprise that we lost. No. Did I expect it? Yes. Did I expect us to get an absolute doing? No. And the reason I didn't expect us to get a doing was that I thought by now we'd be a more organised team, Ox, and that is only one place that's affected that, which is the management team. By now at this stage we should not be wide open like that as it happened last night. And really, after 4 minutes, the writing was on the wall, wasn't it? With their first goal. And that wasn't even with us having the guy sent off yet. So far all season, Ox, it's been the case that we've just not been able to score goals. So I think a lot of fans would have accepted us maybe conceding and not being as tight at the back. But we've not combated that. We've been able to score loads of goals up front with this so-called pace and power. How a manager survives that last night, considering the form that we've been on, we drawing with Dundee, drawing with Motherwell, drawing with St Mirren, the way we've been in pre-season again. I've said that the last 4 managers that pre-season might be a kickabout, but we've got to be ready in pre-season. And the last 4 managers, we've just not been ready at all. We've never had a decent pre-season since Stevie G. So again, it's just been a continually things, Ox, that's eventually just led us to this thing where last night we got our absolute doing. And I think we all knew that somebody was going to give us an absolute scalping because of how wide open we were at times in games. And Bruges smelt blood last night, Ox, and they took it. And to be honest, in a way, I'm kind of glad they done it because it's highlighted how bad these tactics are, mate.
I get that, mate. I get what you're saying about highlighting that. Can I just take umbrage? No, umbrage, that's not the right word, mate. Can I just take you up one point you said, yeah?
Aye, far away, mate.
Yeah. I think what you said about, I can't remember the exact words, but were you surprised that we lost? You said no. Were you surprised at the doing? You said you were. So if you think back to the 2 previous European ties, there was times in both the games, Panathinaikos both home and away, and Pilsner, we could have had downs maybe 3 or 4 the 4 games, mate, before we got to that. Last week at Ibrox could have been even worse, and it just came ahead last night. So slight difference, mate. And if I'm honest, obviously you go and hope, you're positive, you hope you get the first goal. They get nervous and you play well, and none of it happened. And I wasn't surprised the way we A, played, B, capitulated, C, the way we were set up, shambolic tactics, shambolic team selection, shambolic recruitment. It's all coming home to roost. And I get your frustrations, GB. Bridgman.
Well, what can I say about last night? It hasn't been said a million times all over the world for Rangers fans. I think broken-hearted is how I'm feeling. I've got no idea. I've been broken-hearted 3 times this season before now, but I'm really broken-hearted now. I don't see us ever getting a team on the park that's going to do anything for us the way things are. I don't know the board or the people that's running it. I don't know what they see when they're watching us play week on week. I don't know what they see. They definitely don't seem to be seeing what we're seeing, which is utterly shameful, really shameful. I don't think this manager is doing anything for his career. His CV must be absolutely deplorable now. And he's only in it for us anyway 3 months here. So sorry, I can't see his future bright at all. I don't see our future bright. And you know yourself, you know me for a long time, Oxtair. I've been a season ticket holder for every time we try to get shares, get money into the club. I'm there. I bought my shares, so I'm a shareholder multi times. And I'm telling you now, I don't see my club being anywhere near good, and I mean good from a playing perspective, for quite a while yet. I can't envisage as being any good at Christmas time or New Year, and we're only going from week to week and watching ourselves destroy ourselves on the pitch for easy stuff. I mean, it's schoolboy errors. It's like schoolboys that are playing, to be perfectly honest with you. We're playing a team last night who were, to all intents and purposes, absolutely brilliant. But you try to shave that a wee bit and look at what we did. What did we do? We actually did nothing. We never defended. I think we cut out two high balls from free kicks, crosses, whatever you want to say. I think we only our centre halves only headed the ball twice out. And I'm sorry. I know the guy gets sent off, and that was tragic enough, But my God Almighty, we don't have to kill ourselves. How many times we gave the ball away last night? It must have been in the 50s, 60s times last night we gave the ball away. And for nothing, absolutely nothing, just pure bad passing. So I don't want to say too much other than that. I'm not happy with it, but I thought, I'm not surprised that team beat us. I didn't expect to lose by 6.
No,
but
I don't mean. I mean, we would say that's a surprise, and I agree with GB that. But is it a surprise that a team with that many chances? I think it was 29 shots in target.
Yeah.
I mean, think back to the Parafirakis game at Ibrox. We could have been 5 or 6 doing that night.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I've got no qualms about it. I just don't see. I don't see what our team are doing when they're trying to defend from the defence out to the midfield. I don't see it. I just can't get my.
We've no defence. We've not got the right
Correct.
personnel. We're far too slow. We're far too weak. We're no big enough in certain positions. Our recruitment's been poor. Yeah, there might be the odd guy who's wanting to leave the club. Geez, every team in the planet's dealing with that now. The merry-go-round of transfer windies. So you just have to deal with it and suck it up and move on. That's part of modern football, mate. And to use that as an excuse, it's just, I just find it naive. Or, as I think the term Malberg used, is now you're gaslighting us. And GB, the frustrations are just growing. Look, I wasn't over enamoured when Russell Martin came in, but I wasn't against him getting the job, because then we played the piper, called the tune. They decided he was the way to go. People make mistakes in life, and somebody's made a mistake. It's not a good fit. Why not admit we made a mistake, cut the ties, and move on? Then the big question becomes who's next. But that's a different question, GB.
Ox, again, different. That will be, if that happens, if Russell Martin does go, then it's back to the drawing board. And a lot of folk have said, "Oh, there's no doubt there. Look who we had to pick for the first time round. We eventually getting Russell Martin and stuff like that." But it's another clean slate. It's down to Patrick Stewart, Farewell, to go and find the next manager that can organise a football team. Ox, that's all we're asking for. I mean, one of the complaints for me last season with Clement, again, was that if you've not got the players there, and that's what him and Russell Martin keep going on about it, we've not got the personnel, Right, you've not got the personnel, we understand that, but the personnel that's here, you're going to have to find a tactic that's going to help them and suit them the now until you get your personnel. And again, Russell Martin's stuck to his guns with these tactics, and I've got no sympathy for him, Ox, because, like you're saying there, mate, there might be guys that are in and out, maybe not too sure of their futures, contracts and all the rest of it. But you just go with what's best for the team. You talk to Tav, you don't alienate him with the team as they've done. And now, again, after that, I don't know if he'll play it tonight, Ox, but you'll hear him saying about, oh, Tav was a great leader in the dressing room there. He spoke really well to the players and stuff like that. You've just hung the guy out to dry in the past couple of weeks. So now you're going to be basically sucking up to him to basically try and save your job. No chance. I mean, it's game over. You made your bed with that one. We turned around, you didn't want Raskin. And by the way, the pre-match interview yesterday about saying, oh, once we're back in the game, then I'll start putting my good players on, like say Dessers and Raskin. Why would you put your best players on the bench? Why would you not want all your best players on to start with? Get right back into the game and then bring people off the bench to help you see out the game. It's just mind-boggling, Ox. And
I didn't think it was possible that he was going to be a worse manager for us than he was centre-half. And it has panned out like that. This is becoming nobody predicted this. Nobody seen it coming. Yeah, there was a chance that we could have been out the first round in Europe and not qualified for anything, because Panathinaikos are not the worst team they'll ever face. So then you've just got domestic stuff to deal with. And then we've through 3 league games and we'll beat Alloa. I'll give you a stat that somebody sent me, right? Dear oh dear. Russell Martin's last 11 games of football as a manager. Last 11 competitive games as a manager. 11 games, 3 wins, 4 draws, 4 defeats, 15 for and 22 against.
Wild, isn't it?
Last 11 games. That's the 10 with us, and his last game was against Spurs. I know they're a decent side, with Southampton, where he was 5-0 down at half time as well.
See, he's a stats man, Ox, so see if he's smart enough and he's got his wee tablet out and all that he keeps running back to and looking at the dugout with, surely he'll be looking up at his stats and going like, right, hold on a minute, I need to shoot up. Aye, but that's what's surely you'll be looking at that and going like, I need to change my tactic here. And he's no. And again, this is what ends up getting them all sacked. And the only one...
If you take away the 4 goals against Alloa, it's 11 for and 22 against, mate.
Aye. Even going back to Alloa, Ox, Alloa gave Rangers a game that day. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe...
Sorry. 11 for and 20 against. Sorry.
Again, I couldn't believe that Alloa gave Rangers a game, Ox. But, like, I was expecting with the amount of talent that we brought in, this fast-paced football, and how Alloa were able to break with ease against us and actually play proper good football against us.
Because the shape is naive. The players don't like the players haven't bought into it. He's lost the dressing room, he's lost the support, and the recruitment's been poor. We're hung our hat on 2 players becoming regulars. One's in loan and one's a main player. And then you move into the centre back, who's turned into a bomb scare since he's lost his confidence to Giga, because he's hardly played any games of football, and we thought that he was going to be the man to shore up our defence. A 22-year-old centre half with a position that usually most people play have got experience. Yeah, look at the back line last night. How much football they've actually played professionally in the last year. The back four last night hardly played a game.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from Suter, yeah. Played very few
and
football, and then we think we're going to take them in. It's naivety. And the person who is involved in recruiting the players, or if they're picking for the manager, they have to get in the same taxi, in my opinion. Bridgman.
Oh, you're starting to speak the way I'm thinking. When you come to these things, I don't know whether I'm allowed to say half of these things, to be honest, the way you said it. As far as I'm concerned, like, I watched the two centre halves last night playing for us, or were they playing for us? And I think I saw big chunks of the game where Mr. Suter never even touched the ball. He didn't meet a couple of headers, he couldn't even meet it. Now, John Suter's good for blocks, going into blocking, but he's up against that team last night. You could see the way they were playing. They weren't going to get blocked in a great sense of it, with the ball at their feet type thing. They're a brilliant team, and they were far, far, far too classy a team for our defence. Right, every single one of them, including Tav when he came on, far too classy. Their game was brilliant. The way they played the ball at speed, and their pace themselves went on the team. We were miles behind them, miles behind. By the way, the young lad that gets sent off, I felt for him because he was way out of position. He looked as if he was playing inside left, the position. I thought, what is he doing there? And he goes, has to pull the boy down because we don't have the pace on the team to catch any of these players when they run. The guy at the right wing for them, my God, he must have done, I don't know, he must have 70 passes to him in our game.
But Bridgman, see if we'd have still had 11 men in the park, that's the way he sets his team up. I pointed out to you after the third game how narrow the whole back four is and how the spaces are. And every team that we played, including Alloa, are getting spaced in the wings, and you get to run it with fullbacks and then put crosses in or keep running till you're at the edge of the box or even get to the byline and cut it back. The thing's a recipe for disaster. It's naivety to the point of insulting. GB.
Aye, Ox, I know. And I think you even touched on it, Ox, during the pre-season, mate. See the Middlesbrough game and these closed-door games. I think you picked up on it with the Barnsley game. When, again, it was that square passing that was going on with the boy Fernandez and stuff like that. And then the Middlesbrough came up the road and actually looked like world beaters against us as well. With the goals that they were scoring, just, what I say, just ripping us open at the back, no bother. They're the times, Ox, where you start to go at, I would expect as a manager to go at, right, hold on a minute, we are getting too exposed here at the back. I need to kind of look at this before we start this season. And he didn't. Stuck with it because we're going to get personnel in. Whoever was telling... Whoever's...
80 players that were playing in the outfield, 80% of our outfield players were recruited. Yeah, this summer.
Yep.
Well, Lyle Cameron maybe a bit earlier than that, but he came in the door this summer. So 80% of the players are new. So that's a big turnover in any team, mate. That's 80% new, mate.
But they're professional football players, Ox. This is what I'm saying. Like,
if they're not good enough, not experienced enough, don't buy into the signal. It's just all a recipe for disaster. To build a team, using Albert, to build a team is not. You have to get a combination. Bridge can come in. Bridge will have played with some right good partners who are standalone good players, but the chemistry isn't there between certain individuals. And when they come together, it just didn't click. That can happen bizarrely in football. You get a guy that's maybe not such a good player, he teams up with somebody else, but they just work tremendously well together. That's building a team. You need a ball winner in your team. Who's your ball winner? Lyle Cameron, Asgard, and Jack Rothwell. Joe Rothwell, wasn't it? Joe Rothwell. Yeah, it's unbelievable. The blend. So we're not winning the ball back. We've no mobility in there with Rothwell, who's the anchor, or the pivot, as they call it now, which I don't get. Yeah, you've got the ball dictates when you played football. No the whiteboard, right? So he can't run. We've signed somebody in, hung our hat on him. He's experienced. He can't run. He's then getting brushed off the ball because he's not very big. Against the guys last night who are all big and athletic. Yeah, it's just been so bad. The recruitment at this level, it's just bordering on embarrassing. Bridgeman, sorry, GP.
Can't disagree with. Sorry, Paul, can't disagree with you. You said, of course, we're just a shadow of Rangers teams from the past. Very embarrassing, their performance, even at the player level. I hate to criticise just the team, the players in the team. The team, forget the manager. The team can ignore the manager on the pitch. If they see what's going wrong, they can try and fix it themselves if they're up to it. But this manager must have something on them to be able. How on earth can you play with nine of our own players in our half and not get the ball? How can it be? Why can't we get the ball? And when we get it, why can't we pass it to one of our 9 players?
I'll tell you another thing. If you play the same patterns all the time and you're consistent and you think you've reinvented the wheel, people just have to stand and then you've nowhere to go. Nowhere to go, mate. Because all you're doing constantly is playing it along the back line. It goes to either the centre half. Yeah. They've got to put it into the midfield with the back to go, and they're looking for a runner. Everybody knows where it's going to go. So it ends up, not even is it bad, it's predictable, GB. So it's easy to stop. And when you stop it, the teams are running in on your goal. From Alloa to Bruges to Dundee to Murrable to St Mirren at times. And you keep doing it. It's crazy, mate. Crazy.
Well, where Jenks and Munn got their first goal for Ox, for watching our probably pre-season and the games leading up to their game. That first goal.
Aye. The two centre halves are standing in the other teams, in the other team's half. One ball goes up the park, the fullback comes across, and then naively brings him down. But he was still right through and goal. Right up the middle of the park, because that's the way they're instructed to play. It's crazy, GB. Anyway, we better get the phone lines opened up.
Yeah, let's get hear if there's a solution out there, Ox. It'd be good to see different points of view, mate. But we had fun, right?
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, GB, back to you, mate. Sorry, mate. When I start talking about it, I just get frustrated. Yeah, I don't know individually if these boys can be better in a different shape or the different people together as individuals. But what we're seeing now, it's just farcical, mate. Farcical.
What you're seeing now, Ox, I think, and just from my novice opinion, is that the team, they don't look as though they know what they're doing. Like, see, when I've watched the other teams play against us, especially Motherwell, like say especially Motherwell, they all looked as though they were on it together. And Albert talks about this with in the trenches and stuff like that. All the teams that we've kind of played all look as though they would go out for a pint with each other. See your team, they look as though they're just happy to get off the pitch and go up the road, and they'll talk to each other. There doesn't look to be any pals on the pitch or anything like that. They all look, like I say, a bunch of individuals. And you see when you kept watching Rafael last night, see when the goals were going in, he just turned back round and just walked back to the centre circle. Didn't even look back. Every time I got away, and I just walked right back up. He wasn't looking around at anybody to say, for God's sake, you've got to get it together here or anything like that. I mean, we're talking about leaders. Russell Martin saying he's got to bring leaders into the squad and stuff like that. It just shows you that there's, like I say, Ox, everybody's looking fed up in that squad. And by the way, the only praise I can give anybody for the full start of the season is Jack Butland. He went away pre-season. He's got his own personal coach. He looked at his game where all his flaws were, and he came back ready and raring to go for the season ahead. Ox acted totally professional, and he's shown his form throughout this full season so far. And again last night, he stopped that for being at least 12-0. I mean, I think with some of the saves he's pulling off.
It could have been, mate. That's we all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who at half time thought it would only end up 6? Not one of us. Bridgman.
I did. I was absolutely delighted to get to only 6. But in reality, wow! Before the game started, I was quietly confident that we might hold them for a wee while and then start to build our play and do some more wonderful things. But we were rubbish. Just rubbish. And I honestly thought at half time, we've got to do something. We've really we've got 10 men, but we've got to do something. But actually, I don't know how many times we made it into their half, in all honesty. But we've certainly played a long time in our own half with 2 banks of 4 players, maybe even 2 banks of 5, you know. Really, it was like sometimes we watch that when with teams playing against us, and we absolutely hate it when we give those teams a doing verbally for doing that. But my God, we did it last night and we still couldn't hold it. We watched teams head the ball away from us, in for great tackles, blocks, you name it. Goalkeeper having a great time. Poor goalkeeper for us, he was our best player last night, and he still lost 6 goals. Amazing, just amazing.
Anyway, we'll be joined by Matthew. Evening, Matthew.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for taking my call.
No, mate, the floor's yours, mate. Get it off your chest.
The game was terrible. I tried to phone last night, but I couldn't get through.
I wonder why, mate. The lines might have been a bit busy, mate.
Hi. Just to ask a question quickly first before I run off a few things. See the statistics you were talking about, was that just the Rangers statistics?
No, I was a wee bit naughty, mate. I added in the last game that he managed Southampton.
Well, see, since he's managed, I'll put this comment out to everybody. He isn't the Rangers manager. He's a head coach.
Head coach, all right. Okay.
The person above him, I think, is making decisions. The director of football. I don't like the guy. Never liked him. I don't understand why somebody who had a 30% win ratio got a job at Ibrox. But his statistics at Rangers alone: 12 games. That's the pre-season friendlies. 22 goals conceded. That's just Rangers. So I think you need to add a wee bit more onto your statistics. I think, because I've added up just the Rangers games and it's 22 goals.
No, I think we've conceded 17 and we conceded 4? 2 against Middlesbrough and 2 against.
Maybe I counted it up wrong then.
Yeah, 20. It's all right.
But see, Max. Is it Max Aaron or Aarons? I don't know how you say his second name. The right back.
You carry on. I'll not tell you what I call him, but carry on.
I know. I'm keeping my tongue bitten. He's only played 4 games last season for Valencia.
Did he play them for Valencia? Did they actually play them?
He played for Valencia last season. He was picked to be a £20 million player going to Valencia this year, but he only played 4 games last season out of 38. As far as I'm led to believe, it was called glass legs because he couldn't move. Out there, that's what they refer to him. I watched 2 of the games he played and he played terrible. And I don't understand why Tav isn't getting a game. Right, I've not been a big fan of Tav for 2 seasons, but that guy's played every season except for 2019, 30 plus games a season. 2019 he played 24 games because he was out injured. I just don't get what's happened. If he's had a fight, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I'll go to GB, but my take is that we thought we had to replace Tav, and we've replaced him with, even now, when I think Tav passed his best, Tav's by far a superior player to the guy we're bringing in. But whether the boy Aaron's is just the jersey's too big, it's too rough and tumble for him. The pressure's too much. He just can't caught it. He's on loan. Couple of losses, send him back and try and bring in a proper right back to compete with Tav and improve our team with the pace, physicality. Yeah, because that boy's got no pace, no physicality, can't tackle. He's not the quickest. He's not a great defender. He can't go forward like Tav. And by the way, it's not just his fault. Max Aaron's fault.
No. It's the full. It's the full defence and so-called management style.
I don't even think he's a good half for us, in my opinion. GB, and then we'll come back to Matthew.
Matthew, mate, cheers for phoning in, mate, and making good points there. The Tav thing, the only justification I could give it was the Motherwell game, mate, for their goal. He didn't run back. He kind of just let the guy again. What we've been screaming about, just let the guy run into the box and hit a shot, and we got the equaliser. And I think we're all after that game. We were a bit like, right, this needs to change it up and put on the boy Aaron's or whatever. And sadly, Russell Martin's not stuck to what he said he would stick to. You would get in the team and merit. And the boy Aarons has come in and he's been constantly no at it. He's no showing his true quality, that what you're saying that folk keep talking about. He's a £20 million player and all that. So at that stage you're thinking, right, well, as a manager, they're putting Tav back in. But clearly he's trying to do this whole thing, well, I know best thing, and the guy's shooting himself in the foot with doing it. And he shot himself in his foot big time doing it last night, because there's a big game last night. You need to try and get into it early, get to the game win, and you bench a guy who's been to a European final.
Yeah.
A guy with all that experience, and yet you put in Aarons, and like you say, who's only had 4 games in Valencia. It's absolute mental, mate.
Matthew?
Yeah. Well, my last point, and then you can cut me off, obviously. Oh, God, it's totally went out of my head.
You just
were you... Oh, sorry, on you go.
Oh, if you carry on, mate, I was going to go to bridge while you thought what you were going to make. Carry on, make your point.
Are you happy with the 49ers taking over?
Oh.
That's a question I want to ask. Like that'll be probably my last question.
Right.
I've got so many, but I'm just wondering if do you have any concerns that this is going to go on too long, like the poll? If you can remember when Patrick Stewart came in, he said, "Yep, the board's all behind him." What happened? Draw, loss, draw, win, loss, and they were still all behind him until that final day, where literally he left on mutual consent, supposedly, and only took half his pay cut. But the papers say that he get paid half. I don't know if that was all true. But I'm just worried about these 49ers, that they don't have a plan.
Right, they're relying on people to make decisions for them. They're the owners, and then they employ executives to make the decision, directors, whatever you want to, working directors as such, whatever the positions are, or the titles they get, or the big badge they get. Listen, they come in and they gave us optimism because we have got some financial backing about them. But like any sporting organisation, your recruitment is key, and where you shop, you've got to get that right, and they must recognise that for the 49ers. Now, the people collectively making the decisions at this moment in time, since, if you like, the last 3 months, June, July and August, since we started recruiting, they've got it so wrong, and they need to recognise that. And if you throw that, if you accept that the head coach is one of the things we've got wrong, mate, they're going to have to think, mate. I don't think we should hear from them all the time, but if they're going to understand the intensity of Rangers, that people look for answers constantly. And Walter Smith used to say, you're only 3 games away from a crisis. Well, this is 10. I was happy the 49ers come in. I'm happy with what they're trying to do, some of the stuff and the infrastructure of the club. I'm not happy with the decisions they've made in the first team recruitment. and on a whole, Bridgman.
Yeah. Actually, the most of the things that have been said in the last couple of minutes there is 100% true. I'm going to only speak from this lunatic that was able to go and get a season ticket for many years ago and be part of our club. And I don't see my club. I'm watching my team, but I don't see my club. I don't see the shall we say, the class or quality on the pitch at all. I thought our goalkeeper had a really good night last night, but I still don't rate him as a better keeper than some of the boys we've had in the past. But
yeah,
my goodness gracious, we are really, really, really poor. Quality-wise, pace-wise, there's nothing there. You can build tempo and you can get into the game and do it. And we did it a couple of times last night. Unfortunately, a couple of times getting in there. But one thing that becomes obvious is, and Oxlade said it in the first time he opened it up when he's talking about this, and he says that we're we players. We've got players probably maybe 5 feet, 8, 7, 9 possibly, and that's what I see. Not all of the guys as, but we've got some wee guy. You notice it when they're standing at corners and you've got some like Boy Cameron and he's up against a giant centre half at 6'4" or some centre forward. Whatever. It's no there. It's no there. That's all I've got to say on that. Before I cry.
I'm not saying every player we sign has to be giants, but you have to get the blend right. And we're miles off it. And there's a lot. The 49ers will be expected your support to make decisions. They'll rise and fall by that, Matthew, before I bring in GB. And my concern is that if somebody mentioned the word to me the day, apathy, and apathy spreads and the crowds go down, say, for the Europa League group stages because people have lost a bit of interest and people don't take up the tickets. Effectively, it could cost you millions and millions of pounds to keep this manager. Yeah. And I'm not advocating that people shouldn't go and support the team, but I'm just saying that as you start heading, we're heading towards September in a couple of days, and people start thinking about Christmas. Well, they want to commit to another. If there's maybe a family, say 2 parents and a kid go to the game, but they might want to commit to maybe nearly £300 and make that call. The football we're watching, B, the results, and if they don't particularly like the manager, well, he's there. So they might choose not to take that up for several reasons. And then all of a sudden you've got thousands of empty seats. There's no people trying to snap up the tickets. And we end up keeping millions of pounds. So we're losing millions of pounds. So there's a lot of discussions and a lot of decisions to be made. And I hope they've got the cojones to make the right one going forward. Now, they might say this is not the time to twist. But what we are seeing as football fans, I think we agree is the time to twist. GB.
Aye, Matthew, the 49ers question's a belter, mate, because, like you says, we're all on a high when they came in. And they made, again, a bit like Russell Martin, made big statements about how they were going to give Rangers the full backing of the 49ers enterprise, whether that would be scouting and medical and all the rest of it. Now, touch wood, the medical side's actually been not too bad for us so far this season, but the backing for the actual scouting department, like when Ox touched on it at the start of the show, mate, full defence is basically made up of loans. I'm surprised at that. I thought it would be more maybe loans in the attacking line or wingers and stuff like that, or even midfield to a certain extent if we're thinking about getting people at the door. But really, everybody knows your defence has got to be made up by guys that are all together. And as you've seen last night, big DJ or ID, I can't even pronounce his name, but big boy for Wolves. When he's coming up here, he's getting kind of sold the party line that they're coming up here for a good experience. You've got to be playing in Europe, and it's going to be an enjoyable experience. Well, see last night, see his face. It didn't look as though he must have been thinking, what have I done coming up here? And see when you get that attitude when a lone player, then there's no really commitment because they're like, well, I'm going back down the road after this. I mean, it's that kind of way. That's what I'm disappointed with the 49ers. I thought there would be a wee bit more muscle in our attack on this title this season. And as we've seen before, we've kind of been led up, I think, the garden path again, mate, with a team, and I'm talking about management team, director of football and boardroom trying to do this on the cheap. You can't do this on the cheap. If you're wanting good quality workers or a good manager in any line of work, you've got to go out and give them top dollar to come and work for you. I mean, if you're wanting the best trades and stuff like that, and you're wanting a guy to put a decent roof on your house and all that, you're not going to give the cheapest guy the quote. I mean, you've got to go with the one that's, let's say, tried and tested, and it's got a good rep about them. And again, whoever sanctioned that, I mean, they interviewed Russell Martin 7 times. That's alarm bells. Why did you need to go 7 times with him to make sure he was the right man? I don't know. Like I say, there's a few question marks there, the 49ers and again the backroom team. But as it comes down to it, on the park, we've got enough there talent that should be dealing with our league. Matthew, I think.
Have we got enough talent, mate? Is 80% of the new players that were on the pitch last night showed us that they've got the talent?
Well, no Champions League level, Ox, but seeing the SPFL, I think they boys should easily be dealing with a Motherwell, a St Mirren and a Dundee. No issues.
If any of them showed you that they're good enough, Rothwell, Aarons, Asgard, De Giga consistently started okay, but since he's made the mistakes, mate, he's turned into, he's been sent off. He's caused a howler a goal against that team at Ibrox, and every game his confidence looks gone because he's very, very young for a man to be playing in that position.
Agreed, pal. Look, I think we've watched these same teams stutter and start, and you think, okay, so we'll go forward and keep going. Particularly the team plus the manager, of course. But I'm afraid to say, like all the Rangers fans that listen into this programme, we're all gutted. We're gutted because I listened to the manager after the game last night, and I thought he was gaslighting us. Even though he came out and says, "Oh, I wasn't good enough," or blah 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 blah, and Tav came out and says, "I'm sorry." Well, we've listened to Tav for 3 seasons when we got absolute howlers, and he's come out and said sorry. Every single year he's sorry. I'm sorry. We're at a point here, we've just brought in a brand new board and brand new owners, and we've got brand new manager, brand new coach, or manager, coach, call it what you like. Seriously, guys, is this Rangers? Is this the Rangers that have went to Ibrox, have been going to Ibrox for all these years watching? This is nothing like it. A pale shadow of any Rangers team in the past. Seriously, we're just terrible. That's what it's like. It could take us back to when we were coming out of the 3rd division because of whatever we called it was sins. We didn't believe them, but for our sins, and we're playing the 3rd division. We played better with some of the players who were poor players in general because you keep to change it every league you went up to get the quality in. But my God, we're here and we're in the top league and we're playing in Europe. And what did we get shown last night? We get shown how to play football. And we were out-coached, out-fought from a physical perspective, outrun from a pace perspective, and out-thought from a player perspective and captain. They boys out there, they've been enjoying their game. They're winning a lot of money, but
it was easy when it went 2-0. It's 5-1.
Absolutely,
we've all played in games like that, mate. When it's easy because the game's easy. It's an easy game when you're 5-1 up, bridge, and the other team's doing to 10 men. Yeah, right. But we saw at Ibrox, maybe more so, that they were a decent team. Yeah, we knew they were a decent team. But I'm not saying they're going to win the Champions League, but they're still a decent team with physicality, pace and power, and some excellent technical football players who can mix it, who have got pace and can move. And by the way, I think they said last night their whole back four come through their academy, and one of them was played his 500th game. It was him that scored the third goal last week come through their academy.
Wow.
So it can be done. Yeah, it can be done. You back with us, Matthew? Yeah.
Yes. I was just going to butt in there about Club Brugge. They have qualified for the last 7 out of 8 Champions Leagues.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know they're consistently there.
It's just completely different football.
Yeah.
But do you know? Sorry, Ox. Do you
you
not
know,
think though that do you not think that we should have a kind of blueprint like Bruges? Because I heard Ali talking on the commentary last night, and they've sold players for big money. They're constantly in Champions League. But see, when they was talking about their spending, they went to like Ajax and were picking up guys for like 6 million, 8 million, and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying that we've got that to go and spend on free players constantly, but it just shows you like they're not going out and chucking 30 million at a player and all that. Like, so they're doing something right, and this is what I was expecting for like the 49ers, that they would come in with fresh ideas and look at teams like Bruges and stuff like that, what's working well with them. I mean, they've got the 49ers will go in the consortium supposedly, like it says Leeds and is it Red Bull as well. And you're like, surely, like I says, they're tapping into that for Rangers to try and improve us. And you're like, we've not made any improvement, even as it, like it says, we've not heard anything about the academy. We've not heard anything about like development, anything like that. It's all been all quiet, and it's all been like it says, cheapy. Like, we'll go and get a loan here. We'll spend a couple of million on him because. By the way, Gassama was basically a chance opportunity because the situation Sheffield Wednesday were in. I mean, this is what I'm saying. We're trying to do this on the cheap, and we're not going to get there on the cheap. We might need to take a couple of transfer windows, but if we're going to do that, then Russell Martin should have been made aware. You're going to have to find a better way with your tactics. You can't play this fancy football with guys that are basically farmers. Or young boys that have just came out of an academy.
GB, check the lobby and your phone. And you come, Matthew, yeah?
Do you think, I'm terrible with names, I can't remember people's names, the boy from Motherwell that went out to Italy, something Miller, was it Lennon or Liam?
Lennon Miller, yeah.
Yeah. Now, supposedly Celtic Rangers were in for him, he went for 4.5 million. Now, supposedly he wanted to go there, right, out of Italy. I don't know why you would want to go, because you're not going to guarantee European football every year. But do you think Rangers couldn't afford him? Like this season, do you think they couldn't afford?
I think we've shown we could have afforded them, mate, with the amount of players we've signed and the budget we've put out, and we've also started to take money in. They must have looked at Lennon Miller and they maybe thought he was, for what you were getting, was too much, mate. And the other thing I know is, was he what we needed? But I'll tell you what, I'd rather have him in my team doing what he's doing and can do than Joe Rothwell. Yeah, I know we got Joe on a free, but he'll be on more money at our club than Lennon Miller will be being gone abroad, mate. And at least he'd have known what it was about and been able to get involved. Yeah.
So I don't know if it was your show I was listening to.
Wasted, mate.
Aye. I don't know if it was your show, because your show got me back into football. I gave up last year. I just finished me with Rangers. I just couldn't watch them anymore. But listening to you guys got me back into it. But I think that Rothwell, after 2 passes he's done, but he can't move. As soon as somebody passes a ball by him, he can't move, he gets up.
I don't think he's had, in midfield, he's had one run against Dundee. He's hit the post with a decent free kick against Bruges, last week?
Yeah.
Was that last week? Yeah. He's done absolutely nothing defensively. He was culpable for helped the third goal that we lost last week. I don't think he's shown anything defensively, and he's created hee-haw after 10 games, mate. He also has not lasted very long, lasted the longest last week. He doesn't look as if he's going to last 90 minutes. He actually looks like a guy who's coming back for injury or he's done as a player, mate. And we were hanging our hat on him. I honestly thought experienced pro makes a bit of sense. Playing that help out, yeah, see where it takes us. And he's just been a bomb scare, Bridgeman.
Yeah, he's been a bomb scare, all right. I think there's a couple of players there that, in all probability, shouldn't be there in our team. I think the lad that you're talking about, Rothwell, is it? Rothwell?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it right. Yeah. Rothwell, well, you know, he flatters to deceive. You know, you look as if he gets a nice ball and he runs at 25 yards and he looks magic till he gets to the line. I saw him having a couple of shots and he was unlucky a couple of times. But I think he runs out of game. He doesn't even know what to do. He finds himself trying to go and search for the ball when the ball's not anywhere near where he's searching, and he just stops. He gets caught so many times on the wrong side.
He can't get about the pitch.
I'm saying that. He just stands. He just can't do it. He's physically, I've said this about a lot of our team, they're physically unfit. Now, it may not be their fault. I'm saying they're physically unfit for our team and the level of football we're playing. And that there might be 4 or 5 players, or maybe even more, in our squad that are exactly like that. They aren't fit enough to play in our team at that level. That might be the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, he's been a big disappointment, along with us. And you couldn't say that he's contributed in. I don't think he has, mate. If I'm honest, mate, really out of piece, mate. But again, it's not just his fault, and I'm not just picking on him and Aaron's, because I don't think collectively, apart from maybe Gassama, yeah, that any of our outfield players have had passports this season in a game, mate. Yeah. And that's how bad we've been consistently.
Do you have a score prediction for Sunday? Or do you just think it's going to be a defeat? Not what you obviously we don't want to lose, but
mate, you never know. It's a different thing, mate. I've not even contemplated Sunday how I'm feeling about it after last night and how that's took me. But that's unbelievable. We knew usually in normal circumstances the battle fever would be on GB. Yeah?
It would be Oxen, and by the way, any other time getting packed through the Champions League wouldn't be a big embarrassment. Like, I think we all know what our level do now as a club. It's nice to get there if we can get there, but I think we're realistic to know that Europa League's been a good competition for us and we do well enough in it. But I think it's just been a manner of how we've been watching the team play. And I think in the past few seasons, as much as Clermont was a bit of a disaster and the rest of them were a disaster, they had this set up reasonably well and we had some enjoyable moments, you know what I mean? But I think, like I says, with Russell Martin, it just seems to be bad after bad after bad. And I think that's what's kind of deflating us a bit. And then going into Sunday, I think maybe a wee bit of annoyance is kicking in as well, because across the city isn't happy either, by the way. Like, they're right in the doldrums as well about their transfer windies and all the rest of it. And we're all looking as a fan base going like that. Now's the time to go in for the kill. You know what I mean? Now's the time to go for this title and get it back after them. And all we're doing again for another season is not being ready for the start of the season. We're floundering about trying to get personnel in, and we're just handing in our title basically to them. And this is why I think Russell Martin does need to go, because if we allow him I think he'll get Sunday anyway. But whatever happens on Sunday, I don't think we can keep him either way. I think he still needs to go. It would need to be an outstanding result. It need to be like a 4-0 or something like that he wins for it to turn the fan base, I think. But I don't think that's going to happen.
He wouldn't turn me. I couldn't care if he bet Celtic 6-0. I still wouldn't want him there the rest of it.
Aye, that's what I'm saying. I think a result maybe would turn some back, but I think the following week he'd go out and he'd lost to Hearts or something like that. It would be something crazy like that. And I just think that with a decent manager, with somebody that knows how to passes, grind out 1-0 results, grind out Bridgemans, we could do something in this league. It's there for the taking, and we just need to be organised. But as for Sunday, the way our defence is, I think you could probably expect us to at least concede 2 anyway, especially how their boys run in the wings across the city. I mean, if they do the kind of St Mirren boy at the top, we'll be left for dust.
I think the only saving grace we have is Butland.
Aye,
you know?
He's been my best player.
His form.
He's been my best player. Yeah.
And if he doesn't play
that's
Tab
decent.
or Raskin, I think that's terrible. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, I think if you were looking at it logically, they'd need to come back in unless the rumour mills true. Yeah, if the rumour mills true, well, things will change for him. But he's got himself in such a mess, mate. He's thrown the players under the bus. He's named players. Even last week, after that performance, I think Gassama said he didn't do what he asked. He just not the place to do it in the media. His sound bites don't work. He's they talk about a breakdown in trust and confidence in the industry with personnel, mate. That's happened with, I think, the team and the manager. It's happened with the support and the manager. And it's only going to end up on one way already. We're now talking about the same situation we were in with Beale and Clement, and it's already. And this movie is only going to go one way. And for me, you get rip the plaster on, let the wound heal as quick as you can, and move on, because the damage he's doing to your support, your club, and your team is frightening and such. Maybe not single-handedly, along with the people, the guys in the background who are getting away scot-free, if we're honest, because we don't really know whose role it is, who's doing what. But the recruitment has been so bad. But you add that into poor recruitment, I think even good players would struggle in that setup, mate. Yeah, in that crazy situation when they put the space and all that we want to give away. Yeah, it's just bad football, mate. And we're just creating a monster that we can't solve. And I personally wanted them to succeed. I think like everybody else who's a Rangers supporter that can and have what I've watched and what we're trying to achieve, I don't think it's achievable. And I think it's not a good fit. And I think it's time to move on. Saddens me to say that in some respects, Bridgman, but I think it's the truth.
You've just said, but I have to say, I think all of us have just said, but the vast majority of Rangers fans are feeling. Somebody's got to pull the plug. It's got to pull the plug. We're watching our club, not just the team, we're watching our club going downhill at a massive rate. And there's nobody standing there with a foot on the brake. Nobody. Because they're all sitting there going, this is fantastic. We've got Russell Martin in. Sorry. Look what's happening. There's nobody in there that's Rangers minded at all in any way, shape or form. They're in there, I don't know what for, but they're in there anyway. But I'll tell you what, my club is going to die. That's what's going to happen to us. We can't go on like this, losing games. If we're losing Sunday, and it's a good chance it will happen. I'm not wanting to say what it is, because I always go for a 1-0 for the Rangers. But seriously, I just don't see Rangers doing anything against any team until there's a change at the top.
Well, the top, you mean the coach?
Coaching, not necessarily the coach, but somewhere in the management area, in that stratosphere. Not necessarily at street level, shall we say, at pitch level. We're talking about a manager and upwards. Because there's a couple of people in
We've also just replaced them, mate. Some of them are new appointees.
Well, I can't say much other than, look, what's happening? Please, who's in charge? Look what's happening.
Well, ultimately, Fairwell's in charge of the football department, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah, and he's, at this moment in time, him and his team are failing miserably. Right, Matthew, we're going to have a tune, mate. You're welcome to stay on and join us, mate. And then we'll come back right after the tune. So if you don't mind, put yourself
that's fine. That's no problem.
Let's have a tune.
I don't know if you can see what the Rangers really mean to me in these last few years. I've been afraid that we might drift away, so I've been telling old stories and singing songs that made me think about where we came from. And that's the reason why I feel so very proud today. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. Of Brian Laudrup and Trevor Stephen. Big Marvin Andrews said keep believing. Davy Cooper on the wing. And we remember Gaza with great affection. The day the helicopter changed direction, and Jimmy Baxter was pure perfection. Super Rally scores again. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more than sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. About you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. Without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Cheers, Foxy boy. Thanks for that tune, buddy.
Yes, mate,
I
not
think
a problem. Not a problem, mate. Not a problem. Right, so we've been joined by Port Bear. Evening, Port.
All right, mate. How we doing? Probably a stupid question to ask you right now, right enough, I suppose. But aye, absolutely gutted still, mate. Absolutely gutted for last night. I never ever thought I'd see such an embarrassing, inept performance.
But was
A Rangers team,
Pilsner
mate.
away was Pilsner away no similar, mate, with as many, not quite as many chances, but that could have been six if you're honest, Port.
I think if you look at it, Oxford, I was looking at a stat yesterday, and it was saying so far since Russell Martin's taken over, we've taken something like 120 shots in the games so far. That's how many shots went on target, on goal, certainly on goal anyway. that alone is alarm bells for me, Oxford. And I've said to Gary, after the show, etc. I've said to him, we're going to meet the wrong team one day, and I feared it would be that mob across the city. Somebody's going to, and it could be anybody in the Scottish League we're playing right now. Somebody is going to hit a bit of form where everything they hit is going to go in, mate. And that happened last night.
Cheers, mate.
Hello.
Anyway, I'll come back to you, Port. We've been joined by Jim. Evening, Jim.
Hi, how you doing? All right, lads. First time caller, but a long time listener.
Right, cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. What's on your mind, mate? But thanks for taking the time to call us, mate.
No, well, I don't know if I'm in the minority, but I think we've got to back the guy. He's been in for weeks. I mean, see last season there, and you know yourselves, lads, a lot of time the calls were get rid of the whole team, get rid of everybody. Now everybody's saying, he didn't play this one, he didn't play that one, he didn't play. I think we need to give the boy time. I've seen things in the previous games that he's played, and I've said to myself, hey, there's something there. No at the back, no at the defence and that. But I think it's the players he's brought in are better than what we had. That's in my opinion. I don't like the right back, honestly. I don't like the boy. He's no my type of right back. But
Rothwell.
He's too slow. Boy's too slow. I think he's got a good head for a game, but I think it's a typical. The English boys come to Scotland and they can't hack it. They come up here thinking I'm going to be a superstar, and it doesn't work. That's my opinion with the boy. I like the gas man.
Yeah,
the other
he's done
boy,
all right, mate.
He's probably been the best out of them all, I would imagine. I thought the big centre half, is it Giga? I thought he was going to be different class, the big boy. He's had a couple of wee floppy bits. Nah, it's not worked out for the guy, but I think we need to give him a chance. This boy will turn it around, honestly. I think he might start on Sunday too.
I hope you're right, mate, if it does work. But what are you basing that on, mate? Is that optimism or realism by what we've watched?
Well, I've seen things in the games, and you have seen things. You must have seen things in, and they say that was brilliant. Now we played Panathinaikos and Pleasant and that. They weren't easy games, but we knocked them out. We get through, and they got us into Europa League. That team last night are a different class of team. For a team that where we've been and tried to come back. They would have done that to every team in Scotland. Every team in Scotland. Even the other mob. I mean, they get knocked out the junior team, in my opinion. Nothing said about it. It's all about us.
Well, we've took the gas off them. We've took the gas off them.
And they're winning trebles and whatever because they're playing against Nedby. We've not had the team. But we'll be back again. We'll get there. But I think we need to back this boy. I think the boy's heart's in the right place today. It's no easy for him. It's no happening now. But came a couple, 2 or 3 transfer windows. He can't turn it around in one. He can't turn it around in one, buddy. I want him, mate.
I get that, mate. I get that.
It's hurting everyone is, by the way. We know that. But we're getting closer to them.
Wait a minute, Matthew. Let Jim
just when he's finished.
Go, buddy.
Don't worry, you'll get your chance, yeah, because this could be interesting, right? Cheers, Jim. Mate, I admire you. And by the way, what cojones to come on and put that across. It's Port Bear. I'll let you come back in first of all, mate, because you were in the middle, but taking Jim's point.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for phoning in, mate. Good to hear from you. Jim, look, I was in the exact same boat as you, and I repeat, I was in the exact same boat as you. I've seen it slightly different, mate. I mean, I know enough about the game, tactically, etc., to understand when a team's regressing or progressing. And I think I think personally, mate, it's my opinion. This is my opinion. You've got yours. You're entitled to it, buddy. I
Definitely,
think
we're all the
we
same.
went back. Yeah, mate. I think we went back the way for last year. I think we're worse off, and one of the biggest reasons I think this. I'll get my first example will be three out the back line are all low knees. So therein lies your first problem. They
Well,
don't care.
Can I cut across you?
Aaron's,
Paul?
sorry, mate. Yep.
What? Can I, no, I'll come right back to you. Jim, have you got the show on in the background?
No,
No, all right. We're just getting some noise through for you, wondering if the show was coming through. All right, mate. See, you're not speaking. Can you put your phone in mute? Carry on, Port.
right, buddy.
Aye, sorry, Jim. No, what I was saying there was, so basically what happened. This is only my opinion, by the way, and what I'm seeing. I think, as I said, like I said, for defence, lone players, Aaron's, Giga, and the boy Magoma at the back. You know, who? It's not just Russell Martin's fault here, by the way. I'm going for the top. I'm going for the Aberdeen supporter, the chief exec, and I'm also going with Titthilwell and his right hand man as well, who have, in my opinion, savagely underestimated the Scottish League, thinking they could bring in these young boys. And I'm going to repeat something that Alan McCoy used last night. Wee boys with no experience. Magoma, he's played less than 25 games in his career, and we bring him in against a team like Bruges. You know, it's incredible. He's Rothwell, no legs, great passer, night tidy on the ball. Is he a number 6? No, in my opinion. You had Raskin, who's got the most turnovers, wins the most tackles, gets over the pitch, covers every bit blade of grass. He should run the pitch last night and push Rothwell further forward, because I think he could be a more penetrative player further forward. But let Raskin do Raskin's job. I don't know if he's fell it way. I don't know what Raskin's done to him. I really don't know what Raskin's done. I can't work out for the life of me. But me personally, I would build my team around Raskin. And this is where Russell Martin's going to fall on his sword, in my opinion, mate. Judging people are saying Dean Time, judging on when he has 11 players on the park. He had 8 last night on the park, and look at the disaster we got. But I've muchly criticised James Tavernier on this show. I've said his legs had gone. I said he's past it. It was time for the game. I was over the moon when we got Max Aarons on loan, because I thought it's a step above. He'll give Tav some competition over that right hand side. But last night again, it was experience for me. Tav probably should have been the right choice and the right back, in my opinion, just for the experience, because he's been there, done it. In Europe, many European tournaments. I just think for Patrick Stewart, mate, self-confessed Aberdeen supporter, Kevin Thelwell, his right hand man, forget his name, sorry, and the manager have just got this majorly wrong. And I think whoever's in charge, I think Mr. Kavanagh has to make a decision, because I think this could be a disaster if they continue to let this guy go forward. Because right now, the way I'm feeling, the team's regressed, and I don't see a way forward under this manager. I think he's lost the dressing room and all, Jim. I really do. I think he has lost the dressing room.
Cheers, Porty boy. Cheers, Port. GB.
Aye, well said. And Jim, by the way, I just echo what Ox was saying there. Fair play coming in, mate, and wanting to back the manager. I don't think anybody wants to see another manager get sacked, but he's no gave us anything, mate. Stevie G, I can remember the first 2 seasons, folks were starting to get at your feet about him and say, right now, we possibly need to sack him. But the only reason the fan base stuck by Stevie G was because we could see progress. We could see that there was something building, something just waiting to click, and we could compete against the team across the city. So unfortunately, Russell Martin's not showed us anything. He's not showed us anything pre-season for us to hope for. The only thing he showed us is probably that Pilsen game. But again, it was back to it that they were awful, and they showed their better quality in the return leg, probably because they had nothing to play for, right enough. But overall, I think we even said it with the Panathinaikos game. If they had a striker, they would have done us that night. And then when you look at the league, we've played Motherwell, Dundee, and St Mirren. And I'm sorry, any Rangers manager should be able to deal with these teams. They should be able to grind out 1-0 results if it comes to it, if we've not got the personnel ready for it. Drawing games like that with such a favourable start of the season with the fixtures and stuff like that, everything was set up for Russell Martin to have a decent campaign, well, a decent start to the campaign this season. And now we're basically staring down the barrel, going 9 points behind come the weekend. And it's not even hot September yet. So this is why I think, like I say, Russell Martin's not give himself any credit to stay as a Rangers manager. Everything points against them being out the door, basically.
Matthew, you wanted to come in and go to Bridgman?
The only thing I want is gentleman's name, Jim, yeah?
Yeah.
He made the point
Gentleman
that he
Jim
should stay, right? To me, I think that's great that you're backing him. Personally, I wouldn't. But how long, it's just my question, is how long would you back him for? That's it. That's all I've got to say. We could go on a 9-game losing streak or 9-game drawing. Imagine Rangers drawing 9 games. Do you still back him? That's all I've got to say.
Right to reply, Jim, and then we'll bring the Bridgman in. On you go, Jim.
Hi, lads. You've got to back him. He's only in his weeks in. Come on. And by the way, we could have won these 3 games. We could have won them with a wee bit of luck.
But we could have lost them with a bit of bad luck, mate.
Aye, but we didn't. We didn't get beat.
I know.
And he's got us into Europa League to Christmas. We need to get... I think we've got to back him, lads. If you see he wins the Old Firm on Sunday here, what, with 3 points ahead of him?
Aye.
Go to think positive. You know, as Big Marvin says, keep believing. The guy's only in the door. Let him get these players in. He'll turn it round. I know he will. I believe it. He'll turn it round. I do.
Yeah, when you say after.
Wait a minute, Matthew. It doesn't work.
No problem.
Cheers, Jim. Bridgman, you come in and then we'll be joined by Kirky. On you go, Bridge. Give us your take on it, mate.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you had for your dinner tonight or even breakfast this morning. But seriously, to think that this manager is going to turn this around soon, I'm sorry. You know what's happening now with me? And my honestly, maybe I talk a lot of crap. It's like a big oil, big oil tankers out in the ocean. You have to stop it. You have to turn it around. It takes, I don't know, hours to turn the bloody thing round. And that's what's going to happen to us. This is going to take months to turn around. It's just terrible. How can you pick the supporter, all of us supporters on here, how can we be positive and think we're going to do it? I'm dreading Sunday. I don't know about anybody else in the world that supports Rangers. I'm absolutely dreading it. And we're all going to go there and say, we're going to beat them. Well, if we do, I'm in heaven. But it doesn't take away what's happened. And then we'll go maybe back into more league games. We're getting our four badges to go. Sorry, guys. I'm not a believer. I'm not Marvin Andrews. I'm not a believer. Sorry to say that.
I'll come back. We've been joined by Kirky. Evening, Kirky. How we doing, mate?
I know, bud. Yourself, mate?
Aye, good to hear from you, mate. What's on your mind, mate?
Russell Martin, my friend, mate.
I thought you were coming on to give some good news, mate, but carry on. Get it off your chest, mate.
I think Russell Martin's going to ruin this team before the transfer window. I think that it's going to be away. Raskin's not happy, the boy. I think it's because of the Motherwell game when Raskin and Lanier stood up to him in the changing room and told him what he thought. 2 boys, it's Rangers and through. It looks like Raskin could be at this door. He's ruining this club.
Potentially.
There's no way he's going to turn this around because the players are not wanting to play for him. You even see Diamandi. But to see if our new good players in, I'm looking at him in Gasman and Ant-Man and right for the in-game, and then as soon as Martin gets a hurry on there, back to mediocre great players. He's asking them to do stuff they can't do. That's not, you can't change that.
Man, a couple of weeks, mate. The Diamante one, he looks as if he's void of confidence as of season because he's ended up playing on the right, but we had him either central or at a push playing on the left. He's playing on the other side. And
exactly, they're playing players where they can't play. That's a manager who can turn around and say that Kieran Dowell's the best player he's got. If that's the judge of a manager he is, we have no chance.
Phoebe.
Aye, thanks for phoning in. The Russell Martin thing, like I say, I think where Jim's coming from, he's seen like moments, like the Pilsen game, the way we played that night, the way young Curtis as well came onto a bit of form, all that kind of stuff. We were hoping that was got to be a fine week in, week out, but unfortunately, it seemed to be kind of just in small splurts. And again, like with young Curtis was. Like, every time he was starting, he was getting a goal and all the rest of it, and he just benched the boy. And he was playing guys that were out of form. And then, like I say, the tactics again. He just sticks to these tactics week in, week out. And as you've seen, the SPFL are absolutely loving it. I mean, they're just happy to grab draws out of these games. And we're back to the usual giving them a goal at start. So, I don't know.
Jim, can I ask you to put your phone? Jim, can I ask you to put your phone on mute when you're not talking? You might not hear it, but we're getting a lot of feedback from you, mate. Carry on, GB.
I know, just kind of the last point is that I think, like you said earlier, Ox, that the 49ers are wanting this to be a brand. They're wanting to promote it. They're wanting to make money off it. And I think if the fan base is, like I say, lost their faith in it, and then you've got, like say, the dressing room losing their faith in it, and even the Scottish press to a certain extent are keep turning them into kind of a laughing stock, then it's not a good look. If you've got empty stadiums, well, half-empty stadiums, weeks in, weeks out, if we go 9 points behind, then I don't think he can stay. But stranger things have happened. Whatever happens on Sunday might change a lot of minds, but it's down to Russell Martin now. He's either got to get the recruitment right in the next couple of days, and he's got to get a team on that part that's going to show us that it's going to be a consistency there, attacking football like he promised us.
Matthew, come back in, mate.
I totally agree with GB's points there. The only thing I'm worried about, like what Jim's saying, look back on, like, there's thousands of fans that might be backing them, or there might be only 10 fans that want to back them, right? I'm worried about next season. We don't have any defenders. Tavernier's out of contract, Suter's out of contract, and the other 3 are on loan. Well, we have nobody in defence next season. So how much would defenders be? 10, 20 million to rebuild a defence?
Yeah, we've been naive to the point of being silly, mate. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I get what you're saying. Understand bringing loan players in, but we broke Fernandez in, and he's our only signing in defence at the moment who's permanent. I get it, mate. Aye. There's sense in that. Bridgeman, that's your department, defence. Well, it was when you were in co-op. Carry on.
Well, I've said tonight already. Forgive me, I'm smiling here. We don't really have a defence. It's simple as that. Not a cohesive defence. It's like you put 4 strangers in there and say, ask them to do things. We've got, I think, Suter's something like 6'3". Yeah, close to it. The guy DJ is like 6'3.5", maybe 6'4" close. And the guy we've got sitting, the big boy Fernandez, he's supposed to be 6'5". But why on earth is he sitting? Why is he sitting there? Now, does it mean that we've bought 2 centre halves, i.e. the new ones? Are they 2 actually not got any pace? They've got nothing. They can't read the game. Is this what they're trying to tell us? Is that the reason why Fernandez can't get a game? I'm sorry. I think Fernandez is a better reader of the game than DJ. I watched DJ having 3 fresh airs inside his own 6-yard line. The ball came across and he missed the ball 3 times. Not the same ball, of course, different times. And that's just woeful. And gee whiz, I don't know what to say. I don't think our defence, they may in fact be okay when they're placing a nice wee triangle between themselves and the goalkeeper, the two centre halves. And then they can bring in a fullback who'll get them back again because they're fit to go forward or whatever. We are just terrible coming out of defence, just terrible. And sometimes you give it to the wee left back we've got now, they've got a guy that's on loan. I think he's a tremendous wee guy and links up well with Gazman, Gazama, whatever his name is. I call him Gazman. I think he links well out there and he makes up quite a good left side. And I think I'd be playing Diamondi in beside them because they're all left footers. That's the way I look at it. But I'm not the manager and I don't pick a team. I just think we've got no defence whatsoever that are talking to each other, know each other's game in any way, shape or form. It's as if they're talking to strangers and playing with strangers. That's what it's like.
Well, there are strangers. I mean, the young left back just came in last week and we thrown right into it. It's you're right, mate. It takes time to build people know and cover, but that's where you've got. That's where the work has to be done and has to be done in pre-season. And if we end up bringing our centre half in, who's if you like going to be our leader, he's going to be brought in with maybe 15% into the season, mate. And then we're expecting him to turn it around, and we should have been done earlier.
100% agree with that. All of it should have been done. We were stuck here, shall we say, at the end. We should have had all our players lined up to try and get that bids in as soon as the transfer window opened. And when the transfer window opened,
maybe that will support some of the stuff that Jim's saying. I mean, I've got a different view for you, Jim, but maybe it supports what he's saying, that the guy's been let down, but I don't think it's a good fit. But we need a centre half. We've let two go. Two go. We've got one out of contract, and we've got a guy we brought up who's meant to have potential who looks raw. If I'm honest, Fernandez, he does look raw. The Jiga came in, and initially the thoughts were he can shift. He's got assets, but he's making mistakes in every game. But a 22-year-old centre half playing against men, it becomes a different game. So we're in.
Can I just say one more thing? Just one more thing.
Yes,
I think the support the Union Bears, by the sound of it, really let us down with the firework display. I think that's terrible because our club are going to end up getting sections of the ground shut and for European games. That's what's going to happen. That needs to stop. And secondly, the booing has to stop. But the booing has to stop from the board. The board must see that and say, no matter what it takes, get it done, buy the players in and get them happy. When they're happy, they'll no boo. When they're unhappy, they're going to boo. At least boo, and then you're going to find problems. So I think there's been a sort of I don't know, some anti-manager parade today somewhere, shouting and bawling about him, get him out and all that. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on that side of it. But my God, the board or whomever they are that are running the place now, they've got to see that and see it with some eyes, and they'll take advice, not from the others in the board per se, but for somebody who understands what the fans are saying and how they're feeling. But first of all, they need to stop the fireworks displays because that's going to get us into a lot of trouble, costs us a lot of money and a lot of spaces.
Yeah, well, obviously it was the Ibrox, mate, so that's different. We're not in charge of the stewarding, so that falls in the home team, mate. But we have to be careful, Ibrox. I take your point, mate. Yeah. Listen, Jim, you're in the minority, mate, if I'm honest, yeah. The people I speak to, but I admire your fortitude, mate.
But
hopefully you're right and we're all wrong.
No, but I've said it myself years ago. I've said it in a lot of players when they've just come in. I said Big Haley was hopeless. You'd be better getting rid of him his first few games. Would they turn out to be a superstar for us? Brilliant. I've said that of other players. This man's not had enough time. We need to back him. He'll turn it round. I know the guy's on saying we've got loan players and all that. We've got to do that now because he couldn't get ready the Doves for last year. There's still some there that he can't get ready. So it's all about money trying to balance the books for me. But I definitely think the guy will get it. He'll turn us round. I guarantee it. We need to back him, lads, and we'll hammer this mob on Sunday. That's my opinion.
Can I ask Jim a question quickly, if that's all right?
On you go, Matt.
Right, Jim, my question is, right, if Rangers went on a losing streak and they finish in the bottom 6 this season, right, which is possible, right, hypothetically it is possible, would you still back him for next year?
No, because that'll never happen. That's not possible. That's impossible for me.
Right.
Because...
Yeah, right, that's fine, that's fine.
No. I don't think it'll happen, buddy. I know if it did, we couldn't back him. Right?
Right.
But we've got... we're nowhere near that. That's never going to happen for me. We're too good to do that.
Can I just say, guys, over the top of it, can I just say, guys, we're in the bottom 6 now.
Yeah.
We've played 3 games, lads. Come on.
Right, so so if we lose on Sunday, right, which I hope we don't, I hope we beat them 1-0. If we lose on Sunday, we're 9 points behind. Do you know how many points Celtic dropped last season? The entire season? 15. And they won the league.
See this year, buddy. They've got injuries, they've got players out, they're no scoring goals, they've sold their 2 best players, they've no recruited any better than them just now. I'm not interested in them anyway, I don't care. It's about us getting better year by year, and we're doing that from where we've been. Come on, lads. Go and remember.
I think we were better last season, personally.
Can I ask you, we weren't great last season. That team that played away in Fenerbahce last night, and that performance last night compared to the 3 European performances this year. I know Barry was the coach at the time. Yeah, he'd come in interim. Clement's team, who these 2 teams were playing, that's how I picked them out. The year previous away in Benfica, mate, the football and the way we played, that group of players on that park collectively haven't got that in them, along with the tactics, mate. We haven't improved.
I would have kept Clement, Ox. I would have kept Clement.
But that's a different argument, mate. That's a different argument.
I know that. I know.
If you think we've improved the last year, this so far in these 10 games, Jim, I can't agree with you, mate. I don't see any signs of improvement. I see signs of change, but I don't see signs of improvement.
I've got the boys there that I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have bought the boy Cameron. I didn't know who went for the boy. Nice boy running about, Hurry, Scurry, and like wee Stuart McCall, but no, it's good. The boy Barron's no good enough for me either. But this guy is in the news, got to try and get ready. All the old guys out and bring in his and build and build and build. Ox, by the way, Allbear has said it on numerous occasions as well. We can't keep sacking managers because it puts us back. I get that
point. I agree with that point. But see, if you make a mistake, Jim, have you not got to be big enough to man up and say you've made a mistake? Doesn't matter if it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. If the fit's not right, it's not right.
This boy, he'll turn it around. I know he will. I've got something inside me telling me this guy's the right guy. I don't know what it is it's telling me.
Oh, fair play to you, mate, for having the power of your convictions, mate. Anyway, we'll be joined by Smurf. Evening, Smurf.
Evening, Ox. Evening, everybody.
Hi, Smurf.
Hi, I'm not bad. So, see, putting the football, my point I just want to make is, see, putting the football aside, right? We've got a culture at our club. Got a culture at our club that we need to maintain. We've had managers that were strong characters, guys that commanded respect, guys that would have walked into a dressing room and went quiet, right? This guy hasn't got the personality or the presence to command the Rangers dressing room. He just doesn't have it. just don't want to sort of rehash old ground. I came on here ranting and raving like a lunatic a few weeks back. He went out and he slaughtered all the old guard that got other previous managers sacked, he said. And I thought it was diabolical. And people were going, aye, right, it's about time somebody called them out and all that. And then they dropped Tav and Raskin. And the following game, he's got that boy Aarons, right? I mean, honestly, he's not a football player. And you've got Roswell in there. You could be joking. And then they were a disaster. No improvement. Didn't want to slate the players. So on and so forth. He's went out and went, I've got the backing of the board. Nobody's got a problem. So that's middle finger to the fans right away. And then, after slating all these guys that he's wanting ready, you know, he's wanting Tav out. Tav's in his final year, whatever. He's surplus to requirements. Aye, the dressing room yesterday after the game, a lot was said. People said their pieces, and I have to say, Tav was fantastic. And you're going like that. It's this muppet. This guy is running on a huge ego. Doesn't buy into who we are as an identity, as a club. No shirt and tie or nothing. Right, cutting about like a paraffin lamp. That's what it looks like. His hair, there's everything. It's all kinds of rang. It's all kinds of rang. The guy, I'll tell you his level as a manager. See that? Who was it we played in the cup? Just gone. Alloa. Right. I mean, you look at that game and you see that Alloa game. I'd have sacked him then. They're going to get 3. They could take about 4 off us in their crap on Sunday. We've got 5 at the back. 5 players, sorry, at that club, defenders. And 3 are on loan. You've got Tav on his way out. Doesn't he only get a contract, probably. And you've got Big Soapy Suter. He's in his final year and all. At the end of the year, it's another rebuild just for an entire defence. Loads of players have went out the door. They've no been replaced. He's brought Aarons in, who was out for a full season last season, never kicked a ball. And his career's been spiralling. He was promising when he first came onto the scene. He's gone nowhere. It'd be like bringing Nathan. In fact, you'd be better bringing Nathan Patterson back because he came through the club. And he's more mobile. On loan. Somebody that knows it and he's Scottish and knows a goldfish bowl. It's all kinds of rang. You could write a thesis on it why it's rang. Never get the boat, mate. It's unbelievable. The guy's got to go. For his own sake, for his future career, he's got to go. That Rangers team last season would have taken 6 off his team. It's a riot.
And I can't. Port Bear. Yeah, cheers, Smurf. Cheers, mate. Port Bear.
Hi, Smurf. I'm pretty much behind you, mate. I'm pretty much behind most of the people that's in here tonight. And Jim's got every right to stick up for what he believes in. I was fully on the Russell Martin train at the very start. And I did have my doubts. He wasn't my first choice. But like every other Rangers manager, I thought, give a guy a chance. Because when they had that promotion team with Southampton, I've seen some of the games then. It got a shaky start. And undoubtedly would have probably went and won that promotion outright if he didn't have such a shaky start at the start. But he turned that around at Southampton, and that was what gave me the hope because I saw that and I saw the style of football. And I thought, oh, I'd like to see some of that. But they've sadly underestimated this league, thinking that these loanee youth players that can't get a game like Aarons, as we're talking about, can't get a game for Bournemouth. I had him at Valencia last year. Magoma has only played 25 games. Giga's been out on loan for Wolves. He was in Eastern Europe last year. Can he get a game for the main clubs down south? So they've been shipped out all over the place. So there you go. I'll shipped up the Rangers again, and they'll pay a big percentage of the wage, by the way, and we'll get them a big percentage off your wage bill. But we're being used, and one of the things we're slowly but surely lacking is experience. See all these young boys, that's what I feel. I feel really sorry for some of the young boys of the team right now because they must be looking around going, where's the leaders? who do we turn to? And by God, I remember when I came through as a youngster at 18 playing against junior players, and I always used to look out for the captains, the guys that were there, guys in their 30s that used to help me through games, made sure I was all right when I was getting buttered around the park and stuff. That's the other thing we sadly lack in our team. We have no leaders. You've got, they say Jack Butland, James Tabb, all this, the management group. Bull, absolute bull. I don't see any leaders on that park. And then Russell Martin to it, we're rudderless. We're not a guy that can lead the team, organise the team. This guy's a defender. This guy was a 20-year career defender. And all right, we can say played in the highest level during the Premiership, played for Scotland a few times, came to Rangers was absolute duff. Couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery. I mean, he couldn't. It just looks so inept in his favoured position in defence. He defends all over the place. And then he comes in, as I said, and upsets everybody. Raskin, who I said earlier on, built my team around that. That's probably our most expensive player, biggest asset at the moment in the club. And he drops him, saying Rothwell's a man for that position. I just can't see Oxshare. And the thing is, he's a guy. I don't think they'll sack him, by the way. I'm going to say this right now. I don't think they will sack him. I think the Americans are slightly different in a way that the emotional attachment isn't there. It's not like Dave King and partner when they were all part of it. They've got an emotional connection as supporters to the club. The American ownership is totally different. They've just got, it's a brand to them. And trust me, they will not listen. They will not bow to fan pressure, regardless. If they start walking with their feet and all that carry on, they will stick by this guy, in my opinion. And I think they'll go on. But my biggest worry right now is in the remaining days of the window, who's in charge of buying the rest of these players, because they need experience in Oxshire and they need experience fast.
Talking about experience, mate. Talking about experience. I'm not saying he's very bright, but we've been joined by Billy. Evening, Billy.
Aye, good you Ox like that, son. Funny as usual. Listen, I'm just got to get off the track of the football side of it and look above the football side of it. First and foremost, right, I've never known a football club to treat its supporters as bad and take them for granted in all my life, mate, right? I mean, people talk about we can't sack managers, etc. We can't keep sacking managers, right? And recruitment, etc. Well, see, the recruitment, that includes the manager. Or I must be missing the point here, right? But I'm going to read something for you, right? And this came from...
Well done, Billy. Well done, mate.
Right, aye, good, mate.
Don't make a mistake, Billy. Don't make a mistake.
I certainly will, the Ox. Bridgeman. This came from Patrick Stewart. Right? Wait, hear this, Smurf. This came from Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thirlwell, right? Rangers Chief Executive Officer Patrick Stewart, who led the search along with Kevin Thirlwell, commented, "Our criteria, our next coach were clear. We wanted a coach who will excel in terms of how we want to play, improve our culture, develop our squad and ultimately win matches. Russell was a standout candidate. The appointment is about building a winning team and strong culture. He is no stranger to our club. We expect success and Russell knows that. We are excited for his leadership," right? It goes on to say, Rangers Sporting Director Kevin Thirlwell added, "Through the many conversations Patrick and I had with Russell in recent weeks, he has emerged as an outstanding candidate. Russell comes to Rangers with a hard-earned experience. His time in the Premier League has sharpened his approach both tactically and personally. He's better for it, and we believe that this will translate into the kind of leadership and performances our supporters expect." Now, going by their statement, make sense under the current circumstances.
Wait a minute, Billy. Wait a minute. Can I ask everybody to give Billy a round of applause? I thought he read that rather well. Would you agree?
I did magic.
Congratulations.
Well done, Billy. Billy boy.
No problem, no surrender. there you go, lads. Under the current circumstances and under the current form, what these two guys have recruited and what these two guys have said, make that make sense. Make it make sense. That's what I'm asking anybody, because it makes zero sense. Because everything they've asked for in that guy, he has not come up with the cards to perform on the football park. End of. And for that reason alone, we can't back him and he's got to go.
GB,
You mentioned culture. Sorry.
Wait a minute, Smurf. Wait a minute, mate. Your name's Smurf. GB, there's quite a few on the call. And then we'll go back to Jim, who's... I don't want nobody digging Jim out now because he's entitled to his point of view. Yeah, we might not all agree with it, but he's still entitled to it. GB.
Aye, no, we spoke about this earlier, about it might not just be Russell Martin that needs to go. I think Patrick Stewart's had about 3 strikes against him. He's had 1 against the fans. He's had... There's been another thing, a cock-up thing he's done as well, and then obviously the Russell Martin thing. And then we've got Kevin Fairwell. He's the director of football. He's meant to be the guy that's the subject matter expert in this department. He's came for Everton. He's been at Wolves. But as it stands now, we're all wondering why did Everton let him go? And maybe now we're starting to see the reason behind it. Because let's face it, see the boys that have been sold recently, they've not been any Fairwell's signings. That's been the boy Clopham's signings that have made his money so far. So I think we've got to look at everything. If Russell Martin does get the sack, then I think the 49ers have actually got to look a wee bit more in-house as well at the other guys that are running things.
Yeah, all right. I think it's only right if Jim comes in with his point of view. Jim?
Aye, lads. I agree with you with the Patrick Stewart. I'm not loving the guy because of what he done with the Tifo with Souness and that. I didn't like his outburst at that. That's my opinion with him. So I don't like the guy. But this guy's only in, boys. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I love the show, by the way. I've listened to it for a long, long time. I love all the boys and that. Brilliant. That's what it's about. I just don't want to run my team down. I'm not. They'll be back. We'll get better.
I get it, mate. We do understand, mate. We do understand. Matt, can you put your phone on mute when you're not talking, mate? We're getting feedback for yourself, mate.
I'll
listen,
go.
Jim,
I'll go. Thanks for taking my call and all the boys.
No, brilliant, Jim. Listen, we understand your rationale, mate, but we understand that you want the team to do well. We all want that, mate. So don't think we're criticising
No, I know that.
you, but fair play to you, mate.
He'll turn it round. I hope he does. I hope the Lord shines down on him and he turns it round for us. And that's all we can ask. It'll happen. Hopefully. Brilliant to speak to you lads. Hope you all take care. And I'll go and let you carry on.
Cheers, mate.
You mind if you phone back, Jim? You mind if I'm back? Cheers, bro.
We are the people, remember.
Don't forget it, Jim. Don't forget it.
Not at all. Bye, lads.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Jim.
mate.
Cheers, mate.
Right, I think we were getting feedback by Jim. It's comment seems to have died a death since Jim went off, but a lot of noise there. Right, and I don't mean because of the show. Fair play to Jim, having a different point of view. That's difficult, Bridgeman, isn't it? We've been doing this a long time when there's a sort of a line and you know, people, it's easy to go along with the crowd, isn't it?
Aye, it is, pal. Like, I'm as open. I'm an open book. My whole life's an open book. I'm a Rangers man. Died in the wool.
Well,
I'm nearly 80 years old.
There's
Died in the wool.
There's a
and
few
that's me.
chapters missing, mate.
A few chapters, aye. But you know what I mean? I want my team to succeed just as much as, if not more than anybody else. Just like every Rangers fan. We want our team to succeed. But when I look on the park, you stand at Ibrox and you watch your team, and I want to walk out happy, and I don't think there's anybody going to walk out happy from Ibrox for a wee while yet. And I mean that in all honesty. And I don't mean any badness to anybody, but we are poor. Poor. I've played in better teams that played come up, but the guys come up to the junior level, And I tell you what, they were better players than we've got in the park at times. That's the way I see it. So forgive me, guys. That's the way I see it. I can't say any more than I'm saying. I don't think we're getting anywhere on the pitch with the team we've got and the manager we've got. I don't think we're going to do anything. However, I still hope that on Sunday we're going to beat that mob. But there we go. That's what I think.
Hope you're right. Portmere. And Kirk.
You know what? That's probably why we're hurting so much, Oxford. You know, we've seen that other mob getting after probably one of their worst starts. A bit of turmoil across the road as well. And that's the other thing. It's giving me a right sore read. We're not capitalising on this moment that they're struggling. And we've got after such a bad start. As I say that I was on the exact same train with Jim earlier on. I say that I thought Russell Martin could be the guy. Progressive, fast, flowing football, etc. Box, yeah, you know what he'll say. You need the tools in the box to be able to carry out your job. And this guy, unfortunately, along with the Kevin Thurwell and the guys that scouting the players, they have not given this guy the support that he needs, Oxford. But by hook or by crook, the first thing that's been worked on is the spine of the team. We spoke about this last year on the show. We felt the spine was weak. We felt the right back position could be, beefed up a wee bit. Maybe a defensive-minded sort of defence rather than progressive full-backs. Let the defenders defend, let the midfielders and the attackers go and do that part of the job, mate. But I just don't see Oxford. I don't see a nucleus so far to a team. We're miles off Oxford. We're miles off where any Rangers team should be. And by the way, we're lucky to get a result against Motherwell, St Mirren and Dundee. See, if we're really, really honest, we could probably sit in the bottom three right now. If we're totally and brutally honest, we got out of jail probably in the 3 games. So we carried a bit of luck in the 3 games. But well there, over the other side, Oxford, and we've got a chance to, have a good start to the season and go and put a stamp down, step on their throats even further. And look at Nicky's, look at his state of our club. And I was so excited under American ownership. Even in their statement when they say you only see us if there's problems, and we've not seen them yet. We've not heard one thing for them. So that further backs what Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thurwell said last night to me after the game. No, your job's fine. We'll see you on Sunday, son. But I just think the next 5 days of transfer window, Oxford will either make or break Russell Martin's season, and also make or break Kevin Thurwell's career at Ibrox, because in my opinion, mate, he needs to go and smash transfer records. He needs to go and get players, serious, experienced players to help these boys, because that's what they are, mate. It's kids, and that's what it looks like when you're watching the games. It's men against boys.
Well, we don't know about the wingers. They've showed glimpses. Gassman's been the most consistent. Rothwell and Aarons, who were established guys at a higher level, have been such a letdown. De Giga, Fernandez, we know we were taking a punt because of the level we played at for potential. De Giga, you think you're bringing somebody in, but he's very, very young for that position. And the young boy at left back, who showed his naivety and he's learning his trade last night. Yeah, we've got guys learning the trade in the Rangers first team. I just can't buy into that. I find it hard enough people trying to get fit in the Rangers first team, never mind trying to learn their trade. And Asgard, I've watched him in training. What a touch he's got. He has got a lovely touch. Yeah, but where's he going to play? Because he ain't physical. He can run, but he ain't physical. And where he's going to be able to play in that midfield in some games, I don't know. He's definitely got a good touch, but that doesn't make you a good player. You need the package, as you know, Billy. Billy? Oh. Last call for Billy. No. GB.
Aye, Oxy, you do. You need. It's important to have the full package in life in general.
GB knows you need the full package.
or get out the front door. But I know. I think as it stands now, Russell Martin's turned up with zero package. He's like I says, he's noticed. See, like I says, the whole press conference of him joining and all that. I was one of the ones that was like, "This is ridiculous. Why are we getting Russell Martin in? They've let us down already." And then when I listened to his press conference when he joined and stuff like that, he looked right up for it. The way he was talking about football and the guys that he was bringing in his backroom team and stuff like that. I'm like, aye, well, maybe there's a bit of a touch of kind of the Gerrard thing coming in here. And I've just been so badly disappointed, Ox. Like I says, he's not brung any of that to the table. He's now that quote's going to haunt him throughout his Rangers managerial career, that he's going to run harder and faster than anybody. Because see, when you're saying that, and then the next minute you've got another manager who's new in the door, like say Mullow, who can turn up and end up running harder and faster than you. It just makes you look like an absolute fool, Ox.
Yeah, I mean, press conference.
I done a bridge man there, Ox, sorry.
That's all right, mate. That's all right. And you come, Bill, and then we'll go back to Smurf. We're going to run on a wee bit longer tonight, so I know some of you need your beauty sleep, you know what I mean? But let us know, because we've got a few people still by friends. On you go, Billy boy.
Aye, maybe that lad. Maybe the lad he could play as a six in Rothwell's position, because he'd probably do a better job than he's doing now. But listen, this gaffer of yours, right? This is a guy who called out the players' egos a few weeks ago, right? And he dapped them all. Then he started 80 players last night that he signed, right? 8 of the players he signed, right? Till it went basically upside down, and that's me putting it politely. Then he calls in the very players who he called out a couple of weeks ago for egos, etc., to pull him out a hole. I mean, that's absolutely bonkers in my book. I really do, guys. I don't think the guy's playing with a full deck now. I really don't. You know, I mean, I'm not a great lover of James Tavernier, and I've openly I've openly said that on the show a number of times. But Tav would have been one of the first guys on my team sheet last night for his experience alone, under the circumstances. and he dropped him. I mean, I for the life of me, I just cannot understand it. I just cannot understand his thinking, his tactical, the way he sets us up, his football awareness. I mean, he talks a good game. He looks as if he knows what he's doing, you know, but he just, for whatever jigsaw he's trying to build, he's not putting the pieces together. No chance.
Start with the basics, guys. Make us hard to beat. That should be. I mean, your fundamentals, Oxshire, innit? Make us hard to beat. Set us up. Even if you've got to go back to Walter Smith sort of days, 5-4-1. Come on.
Mate. It's a bad combination, mate. Domestically, we're not making enough chances and conceding chances. I mean, we didn't have a shot against, but we hardly had a shot against Dundee at Ibrox, mate. We hardly had a shot against Dundee. So we're not creating chances, and we're gearing up literally hunters. We'll go to Kirky, and then we'll go to Smurf. Kirky, and you come, bruh. Oh, you might be on mute, Kirky. Your phone's on mute, we think. You need to tap it off of mute, Kirky. And you come, Smurf.
I just think if we don't move this guy on, short and sharp, just be decisive. Somebody at the club needs to show some decisive leadership. We're in a rebuild. We need to be pragmatic. We need to be hard to beat. We need guys that are physical, pacey, powerful, all that stuff, and a shape that sets us up hard to beat. And once you get that in place, then you can start finessing it and adding ones and twos with a bit of quality and improving things. But see, at the moment, we've got one left back at the club on his own loan. The whole thing's bonkers.
He's 19 years of age. Bridgeman.
I know, it's bonkers. If we don't, see if we don't get this guy out, we'll no finish second.
I've
And I'll
just
put
said,
good money on that. I'll
earlier,
take a
Smurf.
bet with anybody.
I said that earlier, and it doesn't matter which way we go. If changes don't happen at the top, all the way down to the playing staff, I'm sorry, I just don't see. I don't see us doing anything. I can't see us pulling back the points that we're away. Now we're sitting in the bottom six, and I think that's one of the most difficult places to be, is in the bottom six of our league. And it's not as if you've got games in hand. We've been there before, but we've had games in hand and pulled ourselves out. We ain't got games in hand. We've had relatively good games, playing 3 teams and teams that we should beat. Every day of the week we should beat them. Under no circumstances should we have a team that loses all the time, or draws all the time, and loses stupid goals, poor goals, and so on and so forth. We shouldn't have done that. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. But I'm feared. The fear in me is that we don't improve. And if we don't improve, then nothing's going to happen. As you know, we'll keep going down. It's just a serious twist downwards. And that's what's going to happen to us. And you end up in a certain position in this league, you never get out of it. You're anywhere close to that bottom, you'll get sucked in, and they'll suck you in all the time. These 3 of the teams that were played this season so far have been in these positions in the bottom of that league, and they've took seasons to get up to where they are now. Even it's murder Polish. It's really bad, really bad. So forgive me, guys. Don't mean to be too negative, but that's the way I feel.
Aye. Matt, you still with us, mate? Yeah.
Yes, I've been on mute.
Aye, well done,
I've
mate.
got a question. Does anybody know how long his contract is, Martin's?
Yeah, I'll see if I can find out. Billy, you can read, can't you?
Just a wee bit. I was looking at pictures there when I actually read that out.
I know you like a picture, mate, but that's another show on its own. Let me see if I can find it. Carry on, Billy.
Smurf was talking here about finishing second tap, but the way things are gone, Mucker, we're lucky if we finish second bottom. You know what I mean? But here I want to ask Port this one for a fitness sense, right? See, when obviously we're 2 goals down there, right? Before the boys kick last night, right? They go a goal up right away, and then we get a player sent off, right? Now, Port, what would you have done, Mucker? Because this is what I'd have done, mate, under the circumstances, right? And I'm just wanting to know what your thoughts are, right? If you're agreed with me, right? I'd have shut up shop right away. I would have waited to half time to do that. And I've no coaching badges. We're down to 10 men. We're 3-0 out the tie. And the game's about finished, so it's about damage limitation. I'd have set our stall out with 5 along the back and 4 in front of him and played 2 low blocks and just tried. And I wouldn't have moved for life or money and played the Rangers team right along the 18-yard box and parked the bus. That's what I would have done. And at least that way, we would have come out with some credibility, because we wouldn't have been humiliated. But what do you think, mate?
The first thing I would have done was take after Nilo, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have took after Nilo, and then, as you said, the minimum you'd have brought Tab on for him, and then you'd have went with one of the pacey players up front, maybe even 2 of them. Maybe and played a 4-3-1-1 or etc. mate, with a bit of pace, so you kept your midfield 4 in your defence in shape right away, or you make 2 changes, you leave 1 pacey when you went 4-4-1, mate. Yeah, that's what I would have done. But the first person that took off was Danilo, mate, because at that moment, particularly with the sending off, the tie was well done. Even at 1-0, we all thought it was done, but let's be honest, 1-0 down to 10 men, looking as if you were going to concede more goals. The tie was done, mate. Yeah, Port, and you come, mate.
I would have went with the 4-1. I would have went with 4-4-1, and I'd have left probably Gaspin up front, just for that sheer pace. Just two blocks of 4, make it narrow, make it hard to play through, and leave Gasman up there just to get that ball forward to the boy and on the hope that he's going to run to something, something's going to bounce off him. Because the minute they got us down to 10 men, see the boy Tizzoli, the boy Vanaken, they just strode about that midfield and they made the ball as wide, they made the pitch as wide as they could. The boy Forbes on the right, the guy on the boy on the left, and they just
But Paul, you can do
absolutely
that. You can
stretched
do
the
that
life
against
out.
us. You can do that
Aye.
against us when we've got 11 men on the park because that's
11
what
men.
the set up.
Yep.
Aye.
That's what I was getting to, mate. That's what I was getting to. You can do that against us because of the way he's got it set up. And Oxshire, we're simple football supporters, mate, and we can see it. And this guy has got all the badges. He's got all the support. He's at one of the biggest clubs in the world. What they're not seeing, Oxshire? What is going on? What are they hiding? What's, is there a Trojan horse? Is that, chief exec or chief operations officer, the Aberdeen supporter, is he a Trojan horse in our club? You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, mate. I can't believe that we've fell this far behind everybody. And I said a few shows ago, if you remember right, I said this could be the year, from what I'd saw so far, where the Edinburgh teams split the Old Firm, mate. And on what we're seeing now, that's a possibility. That is a big, big possibility.
Anyway, Josh has joined us. Josh number 1. Yeah, a couple of Josh. Evening, Josh.
How are you, mate? You okay?
Well, put it this way, I'm still not down solid to eat, but that's just me.
Yeah, so listen, the point that I perhaps want to make to your panel is I also watch the women's game. I watch all facets of football. I've noticed that since Leanne Crichton's come into Rangers, she speaks about the players thriving and seeking pressure that comes with a Rangers jersey. She seems to completely get it and understand the expectations of Rangers Football Club as a whole in terms of, the shirts don't shrink to fit inferior players, do they? Like, if you're at Glasgow Rangers, like, you're expected 100% effort. You're expected to thrive under pressure and respond to setbacks and all the rest of it. Get on the front foot in the back games. Put teams on the back foot. Make them worry if, like, coming to Ibrox and coming into the Rangers way and Rangers environment. And I just don't think Russell gets it so far. Like, it's all these buzzwords and he's gaslighting the fans. About, oh yeah, we played really well and this, that, the other, and we've been working on this and working on that. But you're getting the same results and the same defensive frailties every time. So from the handful of games, or I think it's coming up for 10 games that I've seen now from Russell, I haven't seen that development. I haven't seen him come in and put an iron fist down as a manager. But I've seen it with Leanne. They obviously drew with Hearts at the weekend, so that's a bit of a setback for them. But I don't expect repeat performances like that. I expect a response next week, and I think they'll definitely get it. So, thoughts on that as Rangers as a whole? You have to thrive on the pressure, don't you?
With this group of players, with what's going on at our club, we would usually, in normal circumstances, we would think we'd be well up for Sunday, mate. We get beat once in the Anglo-Scottish Cup with Chesterfield, and we beat the Folk on the Wednesday, and on the weekend we beat Celtic 3-0. There was a response. With this group of players, this system, with the manager looking as if, in my opinion, looks as if he's lost the dressing room, I can't see a response. I think we'll get the same as we've watched in every game. The same system, the same setup, and some of the same personnel. It's a recipe for disaster. Just my opinion. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong, because I want to beat them like I always want to beat them on Sunday. GB.
Aye, Josh, thanks for phoning in tonight, mate. I think see this pressure thing, Albert's touched on it before as well, mate. It seems to be this thing now that we have to kind of alienate ourselves with it. Like, any player coming to Rangers, there's got to be hundreds of pressure on you, and you've got to win every weekend. Aye, that's the underlying thing. But as I think even Russell Martin said, that's expected at every club. So if you turn up at every club, the basic that they're looking after you is hard work and performances, and for you to do your job role, whether that's a defender, an attacker, midfielder, or whatever. And again, what we're doing is we've got a guy that's employed who's confusing a team full of young talent there, and we've got a kind of scouting system that's not actually assisting these young boys in the team. So the pressure's coming because of the people who we've employed, not so much the players in the park. So if we actually, like I say, set them up to be, as Port says, hard to beat, then you might actually start to gain a bit of confidence throughout the team. And then the pressure will become easier because you're actually seeing progress. But as it stands now, week after week, the pressure's just mounting. And I think we need to start to get away from that. We can't just keep ramming it down guys' throats before they turn up to Rangers saying, oh, you're at a unique club and there's all this pressure behind you and you must perform every week. Maybe let the boys breathe a bit and gain a bit of confidence, and then we'll see what happens. But you need the tools behind you. You need a guy that's going to G you up, and that's what Stevie G had in abundance. He was able to walk in there and have them running through brick walls for him, even though they were average players. Look at Andy Halliday. Look at young McCrory. He turned after one of the Old Firm games when we had a weakened team, by the way. We were miles away from Celtic at that point, and he turned around and says he was like an animal that day when we won 1-0 against them, when Ryan Jack scored. He was like a total animal. That boy was like an animal in the park because he was running through walls for his manager. And that's the difference, is it now? But none of that team's running through walls for him.
There you go, Josh. I mean, that's just one guy's opinion. Listen, we're all concerned, mate. We're all concerned, and I just don't think this is going to go well. Because first of all, I think somebody mentioned the guy's career. You know, it's just stubbornness is a mental thing in football, if you ask me, Port. And if you only play the one way, particularly at the higher level, teams can stop you so easy.
Yeah, and hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard enough. So that's kind of the point that I'm making. You know, if the team don't work hard enough, it doesn't matter how good the actual squad is in terms of quality. If you haven't got that basis of like 100% effort, commitment all over the park, that's where you kind of like, you know, take last night's game, conceded an early goal, then you're all of a sudden like on the back foot, and then the goals back up because you haven't got the effort, you haven't got the persistence all over the park, and that's where it's got to start on Sunday. And then the point about Steven Gerrard was a brilliant one, because as soon as Steven Gerrard walks into your dressing room, he has that aura about him in terms of what he's achieved as a player, his record, his man management skills, all the rest of it. Then you look at somebody like Martin, who's just full of bluster, mate. Like, he hasn't got like the reputation that Steven Gerrard has. If you ask any of them Rangers lads deep down, you know, would you rather run out for Steven Gerrard or this guy? They'd say Steven. 100% they would, because Steven's proved it when he's been in there in the past. You know, he took an ailing bunch of players and took them to the title. You know, stopped Celtic getting 10 in a row, created this whole atmosphere within the club, raised the standards across the board, and I don't think Russell's capable. That's why I've mentioned Leanne as an example, because she's gone into Rangers with that aura, you know, building off the work of Joel Potter. You know what I mean? She's building on it, and you can tell in the press conferences, it isn't just words, it's not just bluster, it's about action speaking louder than those words.
There you go, Port.
Well said, Josh. I totally agree with you, mate. But where I was going with is, I just think going forward, you know, my question to you all would be, if Russell Martin gets relieved of his duties tomorrow, who do we go for? Or is it simply the choice to be sent to SOS?
That's a whole different question. I know who Bridgman would go for, and I think I know who Port would go for, and I think Josh would give the job to Leanne. Yeah, but that's a whole different question, mate. Yeah, you have to do the first one.
I'm coming for those.
Right. Yeah.
It's definitely difficult, and I think this is where Jim was coming fairly on. I think he was coming to a mindset probably, you know, and all bears the same. And I agree. See with the boys in terms of changing manager after manager after manager. Oxshire, we've clearly watched this over the years of being on the show. It's not working. It's definitely not working. Ripping it up, changing it. It's costed a fortune to pay off managers, to pay off getting rid of players, etc., and rip it up and start again, And I think that's where a lot of Jim's earlier on, and his opinions going for. Maybe he can't see that again. I don't want to see another manager, and I'm with him on that. I don't want to see another manager, having to rip up against Oxford, start a project, and the whole thing gets turned over again. And
I don't think anybody
I don't want that to happen.
I don't think that the theory.
But I don't see it forward.
Right, okay, well,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
past that time of the evening. We're going to start winding the show up. Right, okay, thanks to everybody who's called in, but we'll get your last views. We're all hotting because we want our team to win. And by the way, I want to congratulate Jim, who came in and made his point of view so well, mate. No difficult when you're going against the popular trend, but fair play to him. Last word, we're Billy, the champion reader, just like Tam at the school. We still get him, Billy. Good reader.
Well, I would normally say bring on Sunday, but I'm dreading it, to be honest with you guys. Oh, listen, I've calmed down a wee bit, Ox, but well, where do we go from here, eh? All saying it is what it is, eh? So, listen, no surrender, lads. That's all I can say, no surrender.
Cheers, mate. Smurf.
All I just want to say is that the call of the night that sort of was bucking the trend, I hope you're right, and I hope we all end up eating humble pie, because I just want my club to be successful. However, my eyes don't lie, and the man's got to go. And just one wee thing for GB before I go. You might not be the full package, mate, but you've got a face for radio. All right, good night and God bless. Take it easy.
Cheers. Cheers, mate. Matt, hope you enjoyed it, Matt. Kirky, you're still raising the call. Are you still there, mate? I think your phone's on mute. Portbear.
Hi, mate. Cheers for having us on again. All I can say, mate, is I hope Jim's right. I hope he turns it around. I really do. I say that for me, the next 5 days, the transfer window is absolutely massive. And we need some experience in to help these boys. That's the only way forward, in my opinion, mate, if we're going to stick with them.
Well, we're doing the educating with Billy, doing his reading practice on the show, mate. Just remember and read your text messages, Portbear. Is that right, GB?
I've always been told, do your homework.
Yeah. All right.
Follow the link. Cheers, mate.
That's you officially tell that, right, GB?
Aye, that's the yellow card for you. The next minute is Patrick Stewart champing your door, mate.
GB, over to you, mate.
Aye, Oxy, good show tonight. Obviously, we've ran on a bit just because topic night, and it's good to hear all the new callers in. Ox, hopefully they keep phoning in, no matter good, bad, and indifferent, mate, because it makes the show having, callers come in and make their point, especially Jim, like you say, as we gone against the trend tonight.
Aye, fair play. Last word for your good self, Josh.
Yeah, I just think, some of these games are about utilising the atmosphere within Ibrox. Like, we're speaking to passionate Rangers fans on this platform that they all want and expect high standards from this team. And, by and large, apart from the odd game or two, we haven't seen anywhere near those standards. So, what it's about on Sunday is putting that marker down and kind of culminating in a great performance. The team showed last season that they're capable of pulling out big results. They had a better record against Celtic domestically, so that has to be the marker to build from. And yes, things haven't gone well so far. 3 draws at the start of the season, but if you can somehow get that win on Sunday, it kind of reignites that flame and that passion amongst the Rangers fans. It puts a different tilt on the league, doesn't it? Going 3 points behind Celtic, so they have to start getting results now, and that extends to Hearts and Hibs as well, because they're 2 big games. So you have to build that momentum. And I think, Russell hasn't shown it so far, but it only takes 1 or 2 results and perhaps Celtic slipping up somewhere else down the line, and we've got a title race again. but you can't afford to lose on Sunday. If you lose on Sunday, the pack of cards is quickly falling down, and we might have to see the changes that some of the lads have spoke about. I mean, me personally, I said it last night, I'd have Barry Ferguson's number on standby, but that's just me. You know, that might be going backwards, that might be thinking about sentimentality and whatever else, but he kind of proved it in small doses last season, so let's just see how it goes. Russell might turn out good. We might all end up eating our words, as the previous caller said. I'd love that to be the case. I don't like seeing managers losing the jobs, but I have to speak honestly and wholeheartedly about it, and what I see is an ailing team, a struggling team. Got to get themselves out of the hole.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. It's going to be interesting. I've not recovered for last night to start thinking about Sunday, and that's quite sad for me, anybody who knows me. Listen, can I just thank everybody who came into the call tonight, Matt and Jim, our Kirky, great to hear from Kirky, your good self, Josh, our Billy, our Port Bear, and of course, GB in Brisbane for doing the show. Of course, supported by the two people without there would never be any shows, our Fox and our Old School Blue. This has been Rangers Radio. Thanks for listening. We'll be back between 8 and 10 tomorrow night talking about all things Rangers. Thanks for listening, and never ever forget that we are the people. Take it away, Old School Blue.
Oh!